Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks.
Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes place in the Russian Far East, to a place we have visited before, a primitive and rugged peninsula called Kamchatka, where the geological activity rivals sites from our very own Yellowstone National Park. There are geysers and beautiful mineral water pools here, as this region is part of the Ring of Fire volcanically active area surrounding the Pacific Ocean. As you can see by the satellite view of this area, it is very pristine with forests and beautiful mountains, and very few cities or towns. The elevation of this area is very low at under 1,000 feet in elevation, with the exception of mountains that rise to about 2,500 feet in elevation at their highest. The streams of this area are responsible for just over 25% of the world's salmon population. Dahurian larch and Asian white birch are the predominant trees in this area, with higher elevations giving way to Erman's birch and Mongolian poplar. The lower canopy is crowded with Manchurian alder and Sachalin willow. The beauty of alpine flowers, pink lady slippers, and Arctic daisy flowers belie the dangerous environment surrounding our episode today. In midsummer 2008, the area around the mines at Koryak Geologia mine near Kailino, who sought platinum, were experiencing an oppressively hot summer. When fresh waters are even a few degrees warmer than normal, it tends to hold fewer nutrients as well as less oxygen. It can lead to environmental stresses on migrating salmon populations. It can also lead to lower quality berries and berry yields. These two food sources are very important for brown bears and are the leading factors around our event today. The workers at the mines had noticed a spike in bear sightings around the mines. It isn't too unusual. After all, bears live everywhere around here, but these bears seem desperate and much more dangerous than normal. As the weeks passed, concerns grew into fear, as the bears began to gather in larger groups than anyone believed that they would. The locals had noticed that there were about 30 giant bears that seemed drawn to congregate around the tiny town. The bears that were appearing around town were huge, abnormally large to be so close to civilization. Typically at this time of year, these giant bears would be claiming and defending prime salmon fishing spots along the rivers. But now 1,500-pound brown bears were gathering near the edges of the village in numbers. It wasn't uncommon to see smaller brown bears near town, as the scent of garbage and food lured them in, due to the fact that they couldn't compete with the giant bears claiming prime salmon fishing locations. But now the biggest bears in the area were gathering there. A local pastime which aggravated the circumstance was fish poaching. Because of the poverty-stricken conditions of the local economy, some locals resorted to poaching salmon from the streams, and thereby reducing available fish for the bears. They also sometimes poached the bears as well. The remnants and waste from the poached salmon were frequently discarded in the city, in garbage cans, which are usually near the houses. The scent of their normal food source and the desperation of their conditions were too tempting for the bears, as they were drawn right into town by them. The security guards of the mine were particularly vulnerable to the approach of the bears, as they are posted near mine entrances and only have a small booth for protection. Given their bathrooms were primitive outhouses, each time they felt the call of nature, they would have to risk their lives just to relieve themselves. The increase in bear activity had put everyone on edge, and they were all wary whenever one showed up. As more and more large bears began to filter closer and closer to town, it was only a matter of time before something dramatic occurred. As two of the guards at the mine were tending to their duties, they were unaware of a pack of desperate and starving bears heading in their direction. It isn't exactly clear how the bears got to the men, but a patrol around the mine found their bodies. They were mauled to death, but were uneaten, though gnawed on. The pictures of these men's bodies are horrible, and I cannot post them here, but they are available on my Patreon channel, linked below. But I warn you, they are extremely graphic. You will also find photos of some of the giant dead bears there. After the guards were attacked and killed, the 400 geologists and miners were concerned for their safety. Each time they ventured outside, they had to watch for desperate bears sneaking up on them, or acting aggressively toward them. The bears were seen running through town and even injuring people. The situation became untenable, and they eventually refused to travel to work at the grounds of the mine. When local authorities commissioned sharpshooters to fly in by helicopter to kill and reduce the number of bears in the area, the weather degraded and fog set in, preventing them from doing so. Even so, eventually they did cull several of the most aggressive bears, creating the most dangerous situations. Elders of the village say that once the bears recognize people as a food source, they must be killed. The local attitude toward the plight of the bears is overall negative, especially in the mining community. Experts say there are somewhere between 12,000 and 16,000 brown bears on the Kamchatka Peninsula. They also report that salmon fish poachers have wiped out entire species using nets on rivers to catch them. Officials cite that salmon poachers illegally harvest 100,000 tons of salmon each year, and this affects not only salmon populations, but the health of bear populations as well. In 2008, hunters reportedly harvested 300 brown bears, but estimates climb to 600 bears that have been poached. For the meanwhile, local officials are left with the only short-term solution, which is to kill the bears. But is this a long-term solution? After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I have a few questions for you. Do you think the guards were killed in predatory or territorial attacks? How do you think Russia should resolve the economic crisis, creating the need for locals to poach fish and animals? Is local bear population reduction a viable solution, or what approach is better? I look forward to reading your comments, so post them below and let's talk about it.
Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.